22nd Annual Garden State Film Festival. 200 films from over 14 countries, all happening the weekend of March 21st to the 24th of this year. I am your host, Emily DeSimone, and I am here with producer Carl Carabelli, co-star James Carabelli, and writer key cast member Russ Russo of the film Beautiful Boy. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please introduce your film to our live viewers.
Carl, you want to take it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Beautiful Boy, it's a short film that we came up with. Russ wrote it as well. And we filmed it back at the end of August. And, kind of started out as just us trying to do a reel, kind of like an acting showcase. And, the story that Russ came up with, we really thought it was very compelling, and when all was said and done and the film was in the can, so to speak, we thought that, wow, we kind of got something here. So we really wanted to be able to show it off to everybody, and that's how we ended up here.
I do have to say, from watching it, I thought the production quality was fantastic. So kudos to you guys and to your team that you worked with. I would love to know, Russ, what was the inspiration for the start?
Yeah, so from the beginning, I run a studio, a school here, Monmouth County Acting, MC Actor Studio. And we're right here in Red Bank, 25 Bridge Avenue in Red Bank. And James is a student of mine. But it goes further back than this, because 22 years ago, Carl cast me in 2 of his student films. So it came full circle when it came time for James to sort of begin acting. I was starting the studio. Carl had contacted me because we never really lost touch anyway. I had done 10 years in New York City, 10 years in LA. I had moved back to the Monmouth County area to have a family myself. And it just was kismet, it was serendipitous. And that's how this all sort of began. But it started with me and Carl.
Well, that's awesome that the two of you have been in each other's lives for so long. And that sounds very full circle. The two of you used to film growing up. So, okay, so you do acting. Is this your first film that you have made, or tell us a bit about your background in film?
Yeah, no, it's not it's probably the 3rd or 4th film that I've written. And I've directed a couple of films. But in this instance, because, I was acting opposite James, we hired Reina Cajano and to direct the film. She's a wonderful director. I had worked with her on several films leading up to this. So I knew about her. I had seen her previous short film, knew about her directing style, and had worked with her. So we hired Reina to direct the film. She's wonderful. She and Michael DePlato, who also did sound and editing and was a big part of the crew on this film. They together, they're a couple. They moved out to LA. So unfortunately, we don't have them here with us. They're taking a shot in LA. And our cinematographer Drew Collins was also in their circle. I've worked with him several times. And I just knew he had to lens this film.
And so, James, this is the first film you've worked on?
Well, short film, yes. I was actually,
TV show.
I made it into a TV show.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Congrats. So you're getting into the film industry then a bit, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're working on acting with your dad's old friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's got representation. He's managed by creative artists, and also manages Russ, and he's getting a lot of auditions, and we're working. He enjoys it, and he's doing a really good job. I try to let him do his thing, and I stay out of it as much as possible.
No, that's fantastic. Congrats on, getting your feet wet and getting into it. So, I mean, Russ, for you, I'm assuming you're saying that you have a business doing this. So I'm assuming that James is not the first child actor that you've been working with. But could you tell us a bit about, what this process was like, making this film and working with a child such as James, or what it's like working with children in film?
Sure, sure. I did a film with Jason Sudeikis and Mary Steenburgen and a bunch of other Jessica Biel, Justin Timberlake, a bunch of other people, um, in a film in which I worked with a child actress named Kaylee Fleming. It turns out she played my daughter in the film. I found out later she ended up on 60 episodes of Walking Dead, and she
Oh,
was in the
wow.
Star Wars episodic series as well as the movies. So I've sort of watched a great child actor sort of, really, really wow me on that set. And that was just 2014 that we shot that film. And when I started working with James, it was a, sort of an immediate, like, oh my God, he's reminding me a lot of Kaylee, a lot of just that access, just that presence, that ability. And he sort of had it. So in making this short film, I knew it was going to be something that we could really, explore and be open and be present with.
I mean, it's coming from having watched it, it seems to be a really great work to put into your portfolio, James. So, and for you as well, Russ, if there is,
Yeah.
a portfolio you have. But
Yeah.
okay, I mean, like, so what is it like with the Garden State Film Festival? How did you find us? And is this your first submission?
Well, for me, I actually, the first year I ever came to the Garden State Film Festival was
Really?
2005, and I sat right next to James Gandolfini. So I knew, even almost 20 years ago that it was a film festival to be reckoned with. And I know a lot of the people that are on the board and that are working with the film festival now. And over the years, even though I was in New York and I was in LA, I stayed in touch with everybody. They flew out there, or they were in New York City, and there have been projects that we've all sort of worked on together, different films. And I've always known that it's a great festival. I try to attend every year, whether I have a film or not. But I typically have a film every 2 to 3 years. So.
That's fantastic. You got to keep it working though. I mean, all
Yeah.
these ideas flowing. And James, congratulations on, your film getting in, where you are really exposing yourself as a great dramatic actor in the making. So, I mean, Russ, what was a challenge from this process? Like, what, I'm not wording it correct. I do apologize. What is a challenge you faced in this process? And or a challenge you faced in the past that maybe made you stronger with filming this process?
Sure. Well, a lot of the writing process, it can be very personal. So it was one of those things where we kicked around several ideas, and it didn't, uh, a teacher, a detective, interviewing a boy, and it wasn't until I said, no, you know what? Let me just write what I know. Let me just write something personal about myself and see if James responds to this, and we can, cathartically sort of do this together. So I hope I answered your question in some way.
I mean, no, I think you did. James, what was this process like for you? I mean, what challenge did you face in this, process? Something that you think you are learning from that will make you stronger in the future?
I mean, it was crazy, really. It was really my first time, really, like, what's the words? Like,
I think you had to step outside your comfort zone.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
I mean, not just physically being in the rain and soaked during the whole thing, which you
Yeah.
handled very well, I must say. And also, I think just emotionally going to a place that you might not have accessed before, right?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
yeah, that's exactly it. Actually, yeah, it was.
No, I mean, that is a huge, like, obstacle to get through, is to learn how to apply your feelings in acting. And So from the both of you, or at least Russ, what is it that you want your audience to gain from this film? Or just
I
take
think, yeah, I don't know, for me, I think I've started to realize that, the situations that I've been in life, they're not so different from what other people have experienced, even if it's not the same exact sort of thing that they've experienced. They may recognize themselves in it, and sort of even in sharing in that is sort of worth it.
So I've talked about, maybe some challenges that the both of you have faced, whether it's in the industry or working on this film. James, I'll have you go first. What was your favorite part about filming Beautiful Boy?
My favorite part was probably like meeting the crew and getting to just film the thing was amazing. I mean, it was really fun and enjoyable. I loved it. It was awesome.
That's awesome. And Russ, what was your favorite part of the film?
Oh, well, working with James, amazing. Having Carl on the set, just sort of that nostalgia, bringing back 22 years of friendship there, and previously working on his films. But also my daughter has a small role in this. And one of my other students, Danielle Valente, is wonderful. She plays my wife in the piece. So yeah, so just all of those things. But having my daughter, having my family there, having my daughter in the film was pretty magic.
So, I mean, as we start to wrap this up, is there any advice you want to give to anyone that's just starting out, Russ? And I mean,
Hmm.
James, if there's anything that you
Hmm.
really loved from the experience besides just meeting everybody and getting out there.
What do you think, James?
Well, I say if you're just getting started, definitely make sure that you enjoy what you do. If you enjoy it, that's one of the biggest parts because there's also other stuff, but if you enjoy it, then that's a big part of it. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then it could affect your acting, and then so just
And
Love what you do. Love what
actually,
you do.
yeah, and if I can just say that, and one thing I think from this whole thing and seeing Russ, and I remember walking into the kitchen when they're filming in there and seeing Russ on set for the first time, like I said, 22 years since me and him did it, and now he's there with my son. Like I teared up a little bit, and it's just life's about recognizing opportunities and connections and seizing them when you get it, and just for the fact that all these years later we were able to see this and jump on it and do something that I think came out quite special. I think it's just a matter of just see the opportunities in front of you. Don't be afraid of the work and just go for it.
That's awesome. Russ, I mean, hey, as we wrap it up, what advice do you have to give since it seems like you've really gotten, more than just your feet wet in this industry?
Yeah, I just for me, just keep going. Just keep going. You just never know what's around the next corner. Just keep going, no matter what you're doing.
Well, thank you guys so much. And you can check out Beautiful Boy at the Kingsley Ballroom at the Berkeley Hotel on Saturday, March 23rd during the 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. block. Carl, James, and Russ, I hope to see you at the Garden State Film Festival this year, where there are 200 films screening across 8 venues, including hosting parties, panels, events, and more. Guys, get your tickets at gsff.org/tickets. I'm your host, Emily DeSimone. And again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You
Thank
too.
you, Emily.
thank you.